Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's your host, Andres Salazar. Welcome to the Art of Comics, where we talk about graphic novels, comics, illustration, and today we have this really awesome convergence of record and music, hip-hop especially, and comics. Every now and then these worlds collide, and Andy Joe is very excited about those things. And today we're going to talk about Zarface. And this album called Zarface Noir, this was the Record Store Day drop this year. It is a comic book in full-on freaking comic with a freaking record, dude. This is a beautiful package. Zarface, you may or may not know, comprises of three people. 7L, who is the DJ, producer, esoteric, MC, and Inspector Deck from the Wu-Tang Clan, another MC and producer. These three have been doing hip-hop for a long time. Esoteric loves comics. He grew up just like me, reading comics, making their own comics, and you can see the love. Their whole gimmick, Zarface's whole gimmick, is a superhero. Is that whole, if you look at their discography, that's what they're doing. Now, they've done a lot of really great albums with, say, MF Doom, another classic, rest in peace, hip-hop pillar who has been doing who's been doing albums forever. He's got that kind of Dr. Doom gimmick going. So you have MF Doom and Zarface. They've done a couple of, like, mixtape battle albums. Say What, which actually was released earlier this year, is to me by far the best of theirs. Doomsday, there's a bunch of others that MF Doom's done. But Zarface, this is my first like Zarface LP, and I got it specifically because it's a freaking comic book. I mean, come on. This is, if you guys remember the other video I did of the Powers records, which were those records of Batman and those kind of like albums that were read-along comics. This is not that. This is a comic book and then like a soundtrack that goes with it. First off, before we get into that, you just have to say the production of this is so freaking cool, man. I love this. I just think this is so cool. You've got the Secret Wars issue. I think it's like issue 8 or 9, where Spider-Man finds a symbiote, right, and gets the black suit. And this is that cover. This is that kind of like pose and everything. The cover is done by Lampvere Supreme. Don't know him, but great cover, actually. This is a really nice cover. Really dig this. And what we'll do is we'll go through this whole thing. The album itself is a soundtrack. I wouldn't say the music necessarily fits in with you reading it, but there's some good little tracks here. It's got beats. There's no words. There's no like rapping, which I was surprised. I thought it would be like an actual rap. There's no rapping. There's no emceeing. It's just like soundtrack, score type stuff, but hip hop, right? So it's got beats. It's got some kind of electronica stuff in there and different little synth sounds, which I'm feeling. I would love to play the whole thing, but YouTube, you'll ding me, so I ain't gonna go there. But I might try to put in a couple little bits. Great little images here. Just really kind of fun art, dude. I love the packaging. I love the, just everything. This whole thing is great. Why don't we turn the camera around and take a look at Zarface Zar Noir right now? Let's do it. Come on. Okay, guys, let's take a look at this beautiful package. This really is nice. So I like the inside covers here. You have these inside cover, which is a really nice kind of two-tone print. These are panels from the comic that we're going to see in a little bit. And back, This is where the record sleeve kind of fits in here. A little ad here. And a little bio. Talks a little bit about, this is esoteric writing. He's the one, Seamus Ryan is the one who wrote the comic. And so he kind of goes into his history about loving both hip-hop and comics and that kind of stuff. So I don't know how old he is. I guess we could look that up pretty easily. But he's definitely grew up in that kind of the 80s comics, I would say, probably. Okay, let's take a look at this. Written, like we said, by Esoteric, drawn by Benjamin Mata, color assist by Jason Fisher. Cool. And that's our team for making this comic. Now, and I'm going to be as honest as possible. Basically, the soundtrack music, the music in the record is very cool. It doesn't necessarily line up perfectly with this. I don't think it needs to, but I did listen to it twice and read this while I listened to it. And I mean, that's hard to do, right? How do you make a soundtrack because everyone reads at different speeds? So it's hard to like say, okay, this scene of Zarface in the prehistoric times is going to sound like this. Well, you don't know how long that's going to take you to read. So it's just kind of hard to do. But I don't think it has to be done that way. So, I mean, initial thoughts of the art, Benjamin Mata's work. So, I mean, what can you say? There's some moments of just really fun, like old school comics. There's definitely some kind of indie vibe, you know. There's clearly some rendering and kind of like just drawing ability. You know, this guy is not, I would say, Benjamin is not a professional comic book artist that works for, you know, the big two, right? I think that's fair to say, and that's not a slight on him. It's just this is not the kind of comics. I mean, you could look at this and say, okay, this guy draws for Marvel. Now, he could draw for Drawn and Quarterly or Fantagraphics or Top Shelf or somebody else because they might have that kind of look and feel. And a lot of these more indie alternative publishers really want story over like artistic, you know, chops, so to speak. I think they're going to say they want both, but really they want a compelling story. So that said, I don't know Benjamin's day job, but, you know, the art is what it is. I do like the flat colors. There are moments where we'll see, like here, for instance, you can see that someone is, I'm going to go on a limb and say digitally kind of airbrushing some of this and kind of playing with this little like filter airbrush to give it like a chrome look, like a glossiness, but it's not really working. It would have been better if it was just flats, because putting this other layer of Photoshop to give it kind of a airbrush grays or whatever, it just muddies it. So that's unfortunate, but you know, you live and you learn. But this is kind of fun. I actually like this panel. That's like actually some cool little like metallic art here, and the teeth. This is actually really well done. I like that. It's funny because he is pretty decent the way he's drawn, but this character, his like you know, techie guy is quite different, and maybe that was a choice stylistically, right, that they wanted to do. The story is thus: Zarface is in the prehistoric times. He's chilling. His buddy, the kid, wants him to come back to his reality in time and space to help them because there's a big problem. There's then they kind of go back and forth on the meaning of the word armada. Armada traditionally has to do with like naval fleets, and so they kind of battle about armadas of pterodactyls and so forth. In the sack, we'll find out what that is. So yeah, they have some little kibitzing and joking around. And then this is a kind of a cool panel. This is kind of neat, where he kind of goes back in time and space and now is back in reality. And we find out in the bag was a little baby pterodactyl. A flapling, if you will. This is cool, though. I think this is kind of fun. I mean, it's kind of a cool little, like, some neat little, like, design. I think it's cool. I like the colors. And I do like the lettering, actually. The lettering's kind of cool. Don't know who this little girl is, but she's a homie part of the team, I guess. And so this is like a little, there was actually a comic. There's an X-Men comic. Well, I guess Lockheed, right? Kind of like Lockheed. Might have took a little bit of that. So the big problem is that there is this other Zarface, the Zarface Noir, and he's like an evil version that he created, that his little tinker buddy decided to make because he was missing Zarface, and he's like, you know what, you're always off in these other parallel universes and times. I want my Zarface bud, so I'm gonna create this like Zarbot, and he'll be my buddy. Well, he's kind of evil, and so they got to kick some butt. So hijinks ensues. Yeah, I mean, again, art is what it is, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of silly, in a way, right? I wouldn't take any of this. This isn't like talking about his real life and, solving the root of our societal issues. It's just kind of a fun comic book, and I think this is the kind of cool art project that I am totally for. I love to see these mashups of genres and medias and things, and if you do a manga about cooking, what happens? It sells 1 million, right? Or you make a graphic novel about being a runner. There's combining these storytelling forms into something different is just so cool to me. So kudos again for all the hard work that this took. And by the way, I love the format. I love that it's actually like the size of an album. And that's just really cool as a fan of, heavy metal, of course, This is really neat. These galleries, all by these artists, I really like these a lot. This is really cool. I love the colors here. I'm digging on this. Yeah, I'm digging all these like really neat drawings. Some of these are just really, really well done. So this is kind of a cool little like gallery. You see that a lot and stuff. That's kind of neat. And then, now we're in Act 2. And I think this is actually where you flip the record. So you could flip the record around here, I think, from what I could tell from the track names. And they battle. The good Zarface and the bad Zarface are Zar Noir. They kind of like battle it up. And of course the kids have to help. And there's some goofy drawing stuff, but that's okay. This is cool. This is kind of cool. This is fun, dude. Just fun. And that actually I like that actually a lot. That's neat. This is a cool image. This is familiar. This is taken from Amazing Fantasy 15, right? Looks like it. Or is it 15 or 16? Spider-Man issue. Remind me, you guys know. And that's it. And that was it. And it's kind of like, and then there's like the end. Of course, you got to put a little like potentially. So that's the comic. Again, the music is good. It's a soundtrack kind of score thing. I do like it. It's got some cool little beats in there, and it's kind of fun to listen to. And I really dig this project. So that's my take on it. If you guys want to watch more, please like and subscribe the channel. If you really want to support, go check on the description there. I have my Patreon. Go take a look at that. A lot of that stuff is free for everybody, but there's some things that are behind a little bit of a $1 paywall, and you can read all my own comics and my stuff and stories that I'm working on. So take a look at that. Thank you very much, and have a good one. Bye, guys.